Have you ever wondered why it is that I always say you should shoot and process raw photos rather than JPEGs? And is that even a valid thing for me to say? Well, in this video, we're going to explore a direct comparison between the same processing on a JPEG and a raw file, and we're going to see how they actually hold up. Now, if you like the way I teach Luminar Neo and photo editing in general, you might be interested to know that this is one of over 100 videos that I've recorded as part of an 18+ hour course all about mastering Luminar Neo, taking you from absolute beginner all the way to advanced techniques, sharing everything in a neatly organized curriculum. Now, I know a lot of you have picked up the course already, and I just want to say a massive thank you to you. But if you have missed that notification that I've launched the course and we are currently doing a launch promo and you don't want to miss out on that, I'll put a link to that in the description below. But for now, let's have a look at this lesson where we explore why RAW is better than JPEG. So to do this comparison, I have two files which for all intents and purposes look identical. However, one is a JPEG file saved with a pretty high quality level, and the other is a RAW. I'm going to do a very quick edit on this RAW photo, and then we can copy across the exact changes that I make to this RAW photo to the JPEG, and we can see whether they still look identical at the end of it. So we don't need to do anything fancy to this photo, we just need to develop it because currently it is very dark, very underexposed, and we need to see if we can't recover all of this shadow detail here. So the first thing I'm going to do is just grab the shadows and bring those up. And straight away we can see all of that information recovered in the foliage and the beach. That's looking much better already. How about if we bring the exposure down just to hold on to some of those highlights in the sky? And we can also work with the highlight slider to see if that helps us as well. To maintain contrast, we may want to just bring some smart contrast into this and potentially just bring up that white slider so we get a nice level of brightness in the sky as well without losing all of that lovely color detail. In the color section, we could change the temperature. This was shot first thing in the morning, so we could go for a kind of cool blue look, or alternatively warm it up. It looks almost like a sunset if we do that. But I'm just going to keep this relatively realistic to how it is, perhaps just pop in a little bit more magenta. And if we wanted to bring up the colors in the photo, we can absolutely do that. Now, I'd like to see more color in the sky, but not so much in the grass. This is going pretty nuclear. I can't control that in the develop section, but I can do that with color. Now, I'm just diving into these tools for now. Do not panic. I am going to explain all of these tools through the course, but for now, all I want to do is just get a quick edit on this photo so that we can compare the JPEG and the RAW photo. So let's say that this is our edit. We'll compare the before and after with the eyeball tool, before and after. A nice, quick, simple edit on this photo. We can also do the slider as well so we can clearly see where we came from and where we've got to. Now, what I would like to do is copy this edit onto our other photo. If I jump into the catalog here, and we could do this in the edit section still as well, just on the bottom bit here, but it's easiest to see in the catalog. So we'll come here to the catalog. I'm going to right click or option click on a Mac, come to the adjustments. Now this is talking about all of those changes we just made to the photo. We're going to copy those adjustments, and then we are going to come over to the JPEG version and paste them on. And so if these file types behaved identically and had the same level of information within that file, these photos, once we apply the adjustments, still should look identical to how they did when they were unprocessed. But I think we're going to start to see where JPEG falls down when I apply these adjustments. Let's take a look. So let's right click or option click on a Mac. On top of the JPEG file, we're going to come to adjustments and come down to paste adjustments. And there you go. You can clearly see that these two photos, even though they contain exactly the same processing, look very different indeed. Let's open up the JPEG by double clicking on it, and we'll come to the edit section. Just to double check that we do have identical changes, let's just come to the edit section, and here you can see we have color and develop. Now, this is not the develop raw tool because we are not working with a raw file. However, all of the slider positions that we worked on before will match identically what we set up on the raw file. But this photo has not been treated in the same way at all. We have still got a lot of darkness in the foliage, and there is also a lot of banding in the sky. And banding just refers to a clear differential between colored areas. There's not a nice smooth transition going on. We can clearly see lines going on, and that's also really clear in the beach as well. You can see all this nasty mottled effect, and if I switch over to our raw file, which is processed in exactly the same way, we don't see any of that. We see nice smooth transitions, we see true color, and we also see information and detail in the shadows. So you might think, well, okay, you just need to process it slightly differently then. Well, let's try doing that. Let's boost up the exposure to see if we can't bring back some information in those shadows. Okay, I've got the exposure slider, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up all the way. Look at that. There is no information really being revealed in this shadow area whatsoever. And this file is just falling apart on us. So we really cannot push a JPEG file very far at all before it just starts to disintegrate before our eyes. Now, admittedly, this is a pretty extreme example because the photo we worked on is very underexposed, it's very high contrast. And if you're shooting a photo that's just nicely, evenly exposed, your photo will not fall apart as quickly as this did. However, those nuances of file degradation, the file just not holding up to being edited, that's going to be commonplace in any JPEG file. Doesn't matter how high a quality we save into it, it just doesn't have the depth of information that a raw file does. And any good photo editor like Luminar Neo, when you're applying a develop raw to process your photo initially, the more information we can provide to the software, the better the result we're going to be getting. So I will reiterate, because this is so important, wherever we can to get the most out of our photo editing, we want to be using a raw file. Now, please don't misunderstand me and think that I'm saying that JPEGs are bad. The JPEG format is an excellent format, just not for our processing of photos. It's all very well and good to save as a JPEG. We can save and we can share. JPEGs are very well supported. The majority of the photos and graphics that we see on the internet are in a JPEG format. It's starting to change now a little bit, but for the most part, JPEGs are a solid way to save and display our work, but they are not really the right way to start our edit. So if your camera supports RAW, and most of the DSLRs and mirrorless cameras will absolutely support RAW format, then I would recommend that you save your photos on your camera as RAW, and that is what we work on inside Luminar Neo. By all means, if you want the accessibility of JPEG files that you can share quickly online, download quickly, all of that good stuff, then one option would be to save JPEG and RAW together. So every time you go click, you end up with two files, a RAW file and a JPEG file. You know, that's absolutely fine, but I would strongly recommend that you take RAW photos, edit RAW photos, and even save your RAW photos for years to come, because your editing style may change over the years, and what you think looks good the way you've edited it today, you'll be able to revisit that file when your eye is just a little bit more mature and nuanced to recognizing color balance, or all the little subtleties of photo editing. If you have the raw files, you can revisit the edit and hopefully do a better job. So again, I just want to reiterate my thanks to everyone who's picked up the course already. I do really appreciate it. And like I say, I've jam-packed that full of so much information that I really think there'll be a lot of value for you within that 18 hours of content. So work your way through that. And the idea of the course as a whole is to take you from zero, absolute beginner, all the way to advanced mastery of Luminar Neo and photo editing as well. But if you are already an intermediate or an advanced photo editor, I still believe that there's a lot of great content in there where you can just dive straight into that more advanced stuff. And hopefully I will have shared some good insights for you as well. With regards to me recording YouTube videos, obviously I had to take a little bit of a break from that while I spent 6 weeks sat in this chair day after day, 6 in the morning right through till like 9 at night recording videos. And so it took a whole heap of time to put that together, but I'm looking forward to getting back to YouTube. So if the course isn't something that you're interested in and you just want to see me sharing little snippets here and there on YouTube, then absolutely I will be here for you, and I'll be carrying on sharing content as usual. But one of the things that really drew me to actually making a course was the fact that when I do release YouTube videos, it's kind of just dipping my toe into many different subject areas without having a unified kind of logical progression of teaching. And so, yes, you can jump into different videos and pick things up along the way, but I really wanted to create something with structure around it so that I can hold your hand and actually let you develop your skills along the way. So yeah, I really hope you've got something out of that course, those of you who have picked it up. And for those of you who haven't, that's all good. I will see you in the next YouTube video.